Having a baby was so much harder than I thought it was going to be. I can't tell you how wrong my expectations were. There were people who tried to warn me, but not trying very hard. That's what this video is about. What it was actually like, why I think a lot of women aren't forthcoming about how difficult it is, and even given the difficulty, why I think it's so important to go through childbirth, have children, not just for having children, but for other reasons that are beyond that. So this is what it was like for me. Fatigue was one of the hardest things about postpartum. I went through 3 days of labor and then had a C-section that was unplanned. So my body was tired. My body was recovering from a major surgery. I had limited movement. Hormones were going crazy, for lack of a better explanation. And then because the baby needs to feed so often, I'm only getting 1, maybe 2 hours at a time of sleep before the baby needs to feed again, and then be changed and held and cared for. So I was particularly fatigued. I think some people might have been less if they had shorter labors. Mine was unusually long and very unique. It was also hard to recover from childbirth and surgery while I'm producing nutrients to feed my child, or even just care for him physically. I really felt the difficulty and pull of trying to take care of myself while also trying to take care of my baby, and that was really difficult physically and emotionally. It was a lot of work learning my baby, what he needed and who he was. All of that takes a lot of mental space, increases the fatigue and overwhelm, and the strain that put in my marriage. We were both tired, we were both struggling, and that just creates the perfect situation to struggle relationally, and we're learning our new, how to function as a unit in this new situation, and that was stressful. Stress in general was high. It was probably 4 or 5 months after I had our baby that I was like, oh, I'm still extremely stressed. I should start changing that. And it did gradually get better, and then at one point I realized I was just living in fear and stress and had to reframe my mind, especially because we were in a better groove at that point. Our child was flourishing more at that point, and I don't know that I ever need the stress, but I really didn't need to carry the stress at that point. I remember being overwhelmed by the all-consuming, monotonous, continuous need to care for the baby. Obviously, I knew it was a 24/7 job. It just felt very different than I expected it to. And that, like everything else, has gotten better. But I just remember being overwhelmed by my missed expectations on what it was like to care for a brand new baby. Our baby crying was mentally distressing for me. He took a long time to find his rhythm, learn how to rest well, and to feel happy and regulated. Part of that was our learning curve in knowing how to lead him in that. But all that to say, he cried a fair amount and was uncomfortable in the beginning. And it was just a huge weight mentally and emotionally to hear my baby cry and not always be able to help him feel better in the moment. I only have a few more. It was a big identity crisis / disillusionment. I don't know if this is from the media. It probably is, or what culture tells us that we should do or be like as women and as moms. But I think I had a picture of being able to be a good, loving, present parent with a lot more margin to do things that I had already been doing. In the beginning, I had zero margin to do any of the things I was doing, like, teaching, serving in ministry, doing work, hanging out with people. I was doing nothing because I couldn't. I just had to rest, recover, and take care of a baby, and that's good. I know now that that's all I needed to do, and that I didn't need to take time to do anything else at that time. Over time, it was a huge win to be able to clean part of the house again, or complete laundry, or make dinner for the first time. All of those things were like, wow, I can achieve something again. It was still a huge shift in how I spent my life, and I was blindsided by that, and I felt disillusioned. And so I just had to mourn some things. I took time to mourn what I wanted or thought that I wanted, change my expectations, and then learn to enjoy and make the most of the huge gift that I have in being a parent. And one more thing that was difficult was, as my baby was struggling with different things like sleeping. He wasn't a great sleeper, and we needed a lot of help to help him to sleep. It was really hard to know what book or what program was the right program or the best for our baby, because there are so many resources out there, and I urgently needed to know so that my baby could sleep, so that he could grow, so that he could rest. So things like that, or with breastfeeding, there were things that I really needed help with and I didn't know how to solve on my own. But I was like, which lactation consultant will be the one to help me the best? And it was difficult to do the research or to have the mental bandwidth to search for those answers, because it was all consuming taking care of a child and or resting as much as possible. So why don't more women tell others what it's really like to have a baby? I think it's because women don't want to add stress to someone who's already pregnant or about to have a baby. I do think that there are people who would be able to hear the difficulty of what's to come and to choose to have peace about it, choose to just accept it and not live in fear. If you are listening to this video, I hope you choose to do that, because you don't need to be afraid. It doesn't help you. You will get through it. There's huge helpfulness in knowing that other women have done this before. I was encouraged by my mom. She was always encouraging me, it's going to get better. It won't be like this all the time. It's going to get better. And I remember in the moment thinking, how can it get better? I have no vision for that, but you've done it twice. I guess I can trust you. And that was actually one of the things that really helped me get through and to have hope. Was before modern times, almost all women got married and had babies. Obviously, it wasn't everyone, but the large majority of women went through childbirth. If all women have done this before me, all women in history, if everyone else can do it, I can too. It's just really, really hard. The thing I'm focusing on right now is, if God gives us desire to have sex, which makes babies, then being a mom is in his design for most people. If there is purpose and design from our Creator, I feel like being part of that matters, and it's important, and that I can do it. Here's the good news. Beyond the gift of a child who I love, I think going through that process is a wonderful gift as well. I remember really not liking it and really wondering if I had made a mistake, or kind of wishing that I could go back to the way life was, because I really enjoyed it. It's in the moments where we have those struggles, where we're completely out of control, that our character is refined. Our character shows itself or has the opportunity to grow. I look back on my former self and I can say, wow, I was really arrogant. I really thought too much of myself. I judged people too much, and I should have had more humility. And because I went through what I went through, I have so much more respect for parents, women specifically, but men too. Because even though everyone's situation is different, I know that every woman who has had a baby has gone through a difficult time, and they know at least a portion of the challenge that I had. I feel shame for how I've judged other parents before, and because of realizing my poor perception of other people, I'm much less judgmental now. Another thing is, it's through trying times where you're at the bottom or feeling like you've lost everything. It's an opportunity for my marriage to fail or to thrive. It's an opportunity for me as a parent to fail or thrive. We had to learn how to love each other well and respect each other in this new situation and work as a team in our new family unit. And those things could have broken us. They could have created more bitterness. It could have created more animosity, more distrust if we let them. But we don't want to live that way. And so we chose to choose love, honor, getting counseling for the things that we couldn't handle on our own, communicating through our problems. In terms of my relationship with my kid, it's an opportunity to resent my child. It's an opportunity to blame my child for things lost. It's an opportunity to resent my child for the burden or the losses that I have because I'm a parent. Instead, I am choosing to be grateful for the wonderful kid that I have, to enjoy my time with him, to be present with him, and to accept the things that I'm not engaging in or that I don't have time for anymore. I've also accepted that I don't have control over a lot of the things that I would like to control, but I can show up and do my part to help my child to thrive, to help my marriage to thrive, and to help my body, soul, and mind to thrive. It's an opportunity to take ownership. What I want you to hear is that it is difficult. Don't be surprised. And not only is it awesome to have a kid, which I feel like most parents would tell you, but the challenge of starting parenthood and the unexpected things that even I cannot prepare you for are for your good. Challenging times will strengthen your character if you rise to meet the occasion and you choose to have victory over the things that are trying to get you down. And it's not you having victory in your own strength. It's truly surrendering. I believe in God and in Jesus, and I believe that our Creator, who loves us and who made us, is for our good. He's helping us, and He's refining us through those challenging processes, and that as we show up and take ownership for our part, He is also watching over us and providing for the things that we cannot do in our own strength. So part of my ability to not live in fear and to not hold on to bitterness and to have victory over the challenges is truly looking to my God and saying, I can't do all of this on my own, but I know with you I can. And those burdens, I'm able to lift them off of myself and offer them to my God. If you don't know God or you don't know Jesus, that probably sounds very silly, but I know you have some burdens that you would like to offload, and I just want you to know you can do that. And there's a God who wants to lift your burdens, give you joy, and give you peace. And I actually think becoming a parent makes God's existence so much more apparent and clear. No pun intended. But like having a life grow inside of you, I'm just like, there is no way there's not a God, because I am not making sure his earlobe is forming. I am not making sure the blood is pumping in his heart. I'm eating and sleeping and participating in his growth by giving him nutrients, but yeah, it's like the clearest sign of God. So I'm not going to pretend that's not part of it. But my point is, there is hope. There is a creator who is looking out for you, and I think has designed that process to grow you. I appreciate the growth in me as a result of that process. Don't shy away from the challenge. You will be better for it.